American Indian tribes have faced a competitive disadvantage when litigating against powerful forces. With its American Indian law and policy practice, Robbins Kaplan, LLP, seeks to redefine excellence for high-stakes litigation in Indian country. They have worked hand in hand with tribes to implement the Tribal Law and Order Act, fighting against diminishment of tribal lands and natural resources, and improving public safety on reservations. The Robbins Kaplan American Indian Law and Policy Practice serves tribes and individuals on commercial, government investigations, agency and tribal boundary disputes, as well as personal injury. Founded and led by former United States Attorneys Brendan Johnson and Tim Purdon, their American Indian Law and Policy Practice exists to bring justice to tribal clients whose claims in the past have been dismissed or ignored due to their underdog status. If you or your tribe are facing legal issues, contact robinskaplan.com or call toll-free at 1-800-553-9910.
It's not the younger people who are getting sick, and that's what people are so hesitant about getting the vaccine, because they think to themselves, well, I'm not really going to die. However, right now, they are the ones who are transmitting the virus to other people, and we need to make sure we're vaccinating as many people as possible.
This message was brought to you by McGizzy Communications and Minnesota Department of Health.
Minnesota has the only original wolf population in the continental United States, and 80% of Minnesotans believe the wolf should be protected. Howling for Wolves is asking Minnesotans to respect our true wildlife manager, the wolf. Their survival is critical to our ecosystems, our communities, and even our economy. As highly intelligent animals with strong social bonds, Minnesota wolves deserve to be protected and admired. Learn more at howlingforwolves.org. Let's live and let howl.
Hey, Ogimaa, I've been hearing a lot about this term, climate justice. What is that?
Climate justice is recognizing that the negative impacts of climate change don't affect all people equally. It also means transitioning from a fossil fuel-based economy to a more sustainable future. MN350 is one of the groups that's pushing for this transition to protect our futures. You can even get involved too.
That's great, especially since I'm concerned about pipeline projects like Line 3. How can I help MN350?
Just find them on Facebook or visit mn350.org.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lulio. Overnight, cloudy skies with a low of 40. Cloudy skies remain through Wednesday with a high of 41. Take a break from that holiday cooking by visiting one of our fabulous Eat Local Minnesota restaurants. Find the list of Eat Local Minnesota restaurants and food purveyors at eatlocalminnesota.com.
Portions of Native Roots Radio may be pre-recorded.
It's a good day to be indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Cody Cup, Hidney Cup gave him.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake.
Hey, Cudagy to all my friends and relatives in 4 directions. You're listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanjahade, which means distant thunder. My colonized name is Robert Pilot, and we discuss Native issues and events all from all over Turtle Island on the show. And as you know, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues.
This portion of the show is brought to you by Minnesota Wild. They're celebrating Native American Heritage Day on Friday, November 26th, when they host the Winnipeg Jets.
Hey, the Wild will wear special Native American heritage jerseys during the warm-ups.
And you could bid on those jerseys from November 26th through December 6th at wild.com/online auctions. Proceeds will go towards the Minnesota Wild Foundation.
T-shirt jerseys that featured Dakota Indian design will be given to the first 5,000 fans.
Purchase a special Native American Heritage Day ticket package with a portion of the ticket sales donated back to the Lower Failing Creek Project. Log on to wild.com/theme packs for purchase.
Hey, that was a long read-in, but I'll be going to that game. And when I was young, people thought I looked like Henry Boucher, Wendy. And so, hey, we only got a few seconds here. Let's go with Ogimaa with the news. You don't hear this anywhere else in the world.
Bonjour, and everybody. This is Ogimaa, Giniw, Ikwe coming in to you from Native Roots Radio Presents I'm Awake with some news today. I always start with a little bit of Line 3 news, and Line 3 today, I want to just let you all know that Line 3 activist, lawyer, and water protector Tara Hauska is going to appear tonight on APTN National News out of Canada on their show Face to Face. She is a tribal lawyer and land defender, and she's going to discuss how law enforcement were trained by private security firms during the Line 3 protests. Also in Line 3 news, musician Jackson Brown's version of I Am a Patriot, which frames the anti-Line 3 short documentary video called Shell River 7, is going to be joining with James Taylor in concert in St. Paul on November 29th. The video online, the Shell River 7 #StopLine3, featuring Jackson Brown's version of I Am a Patriot, is going to be urging officials to drop all charges against water protectors and the public to continue supporting efforts to stop the Line 3 pipeline in Minnesota. For more information, make sure you check out honortheearth.org/Shell7 for more info on that. And then again, that's Jackson Brown joining James Taylor in concert in St. Paul in November 29th. And I'm a Patriot is anti-Line 3 sentiment. So fantastic news for that. In national news, I want to let everybody know that unfortunately, Native American artist, educator, and singer Joanne Shenandoah has passed away, according to Twitter reports. Joanne Shenandoah's cause of death has not yet been confirmed. Joanne Shenandoah grew up on the Oneida Indian Reservation, and before becoming a world-renowned singer and peace and human rights activist, she was 64. On Shenandoah's official website, it describes her as a Grammy Award-winning artist, lecturer, educator, ambassador of peace, and an earth advocate. She did win a Grammy in 2006 in the Native American music category for her album Sacred Ground, a tribute to Mother Earth. We are deeply saddened by her loss this year at this time. In more national news, and something that I have not gotten to touch base on as I was not in yesterday, is the police raids at the the Canadian Royal County Mounted Police raids at the Wet'suwet'en territory up in Canada. Opposition of the 670-kilometer Coastal GasLink pipeline has been prominent among Wet'suwet'en hereditary chiefs across Canada. And early last year, the elected council of the Wet'suwet'en First Nation and others have started blockades against this project. The pipeline would transport natural gas from Dawson Creek in northeast British Columbia to Kitimat and is more than halfway finished, with almost all of the route cleared and 200 kilometers of the pipeline installed, according to Coastal GasLink. Gidimt'en is one of the 5 clans of the Wet'suwet'en Nation, and Gidimt'en Checkpoint is a group that had been controlling access to that territory, and the hereditary House Chiefs have made the decision to support them. And on Friday, about an hour and a half away from New Hazelton, British Columbia, they held a solidarity rally and created a blockade on a railway. And later on, Royal County Mounted Police officers started moving in on the blockade, carrying assault rifles and telling, while women and people who were on the blockade told them that they were unarmed. It was basically a military invasion of what was happening in the Wet'suwet'en territory. There were according to those who were present, there were tactical units, sniper teams, and assault rifles pointed at women and children, as well as helicopters circling around. They do believe that the Royal County Mounted Police imported their troops to these territories to suppress the people. In addition to that, what is concerning is that also arrested in the Wet'suwet'en territory over the weekend was Amber Bracken, who is a photographer with the publication The Narwhal, as well as documentary filmmaker Michael Toledano. Michael Toledano told everybody after his arrest that he believes his arrest and incarceration were punitive and blatant attempts to repress images of police violence against Indigenous people in Canada, and that he has no doubt that his arrest was targeted, as one of the officers who he had encountered many times while covering the Wet'suwet'en territory had gloated about the arrest. The Royal County Mounted Police said in a statement that 2 different people who later identified themselves as independent journalists were arrested after refusing to leave building-like structures near a drilling site for the natural gas pipeline. They were released 3 days later. So there was a lot of calls here in the United States as people were seriously concerned. The Committee to Protect Journalists was seriously concerned about the RCMP's Friday arrest and detention of 2 journalists. If you are looking to take action to help the Wet'suwet'en people, maybe consider hosting a solidarity rally in your area or getting a solidarity statement from your organization or group. Make sure you donate. You can donate at go.rallyup.com/Wet'suwet'en You can go to camp. There's information for that on the Giniw checkpoint website. So make sure that you get online and figure out how that you can get involved and help support our relatives in Canada as you support our relatives here in Minnesota against the Line 3 pipeline. Also, I wanted to just touch base here too in some more U.S. news here in California. There's been some exciting news. The University of Southern California has a building that was previously named for a former president who was a eugenicist, but it will now be renamed for the late Joseph Medicine Crow, who was a University of Southern California graduate and who became the first tribal historian for the Apsaluka Nation and published influential works on Native American history and culture. The Dr. Joseph Medicine Crow Center for International and Public Affairs will be dedicated in a ceremony in spring of 2022. And the University of Southern California President Carol Folt also announced this Thursday that a scholarship program for Native American students will also be opened in his name. And then in the U.S. Senate, the first unanimously approved nomination of Chuck Sams III as the National Park Service Director makes him the first Native American to lead the agency. So that is very exciting. He was confirmed on Thursday night. The National Park Service oversees more than 131,000 square miles of parks, monuments, battlefields, and other landmarks, and employs about 20,000 people. It's really exciting to see another Native American confirmed under the presidency for that. And I just want to give a shout out to the Indian Country Today website for some of my news today. And I want to get back to you, Robert Wendy.
Wow, Pinigigi Ogimaa for the news. Always great. Up next, Nancy Bolio, Wendy, Bemidji 350, and a big artist at your store called Native Roots Trading Post.
Stay with us. Hey, Ogimaa, I've been hearing a lot about this term, climate justice. What is that?
Climate justice is recognizing that the negative impacts of climate change don't affect all people equally. It also means transitioning from a fossil fuel-based economy to a more sustainable future. MN350 is one of the groups that's pushing for this transition to protect our futures. You can even get involved too.
That's great, especially since I'm concerned about pipeline projects like Line 3. How can I help MN350?
Just find them on Facebook or visit mn350.org.
Unwanted sexting or photos, inappropriate jokes, even tickling or wrestling can feel like a violation. Catcalling, cornering, or groping, getting them drunk or high for sex, recording sexual acts without permission, hurting someone because of their sexual orientation, raping a family member, a child, a date, a friend, a stranger, purchasing a human being for sex. You make the choice every single time. Sexual violence is many things. Make a choice. Do not do it.
Sponsored by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
If you're hurting in your relationship or have been affected by sexual violence, you're not alone. Strong Hearts Native Helpline can help you through these difficult and uncertain times. Strong Hearts Helpline is a free 24/7 confidential domestic dating and sexual violence helpline for Native Americans. Help is available by calling 1-844-762-8483 or by clicking on the Chat Now icon on strongheartshelpline.org. This message is sponsored by the National Indigenous Women's Resource Center.
The vaccine wasn't as scary as people make it. It's a quick and easy experience. I was told about the side effects and the myths about the vaccine. I got 2 doses. The first time I got it, personally, I didn't have any side effects. Life was the same. The second time I got the vaccine, I was fine for an hour, but I got a slight fever and it lasted for a day. While I had mild side effects, I'm happy I was vaccinated to help the people around me. This message is brought to you by McGee Communications and Minnesota Department of Health.
Hey, welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade.
This portion of the show is brought to you by the Minnesota Wild. They're celebrating Native American Heritage Day on Friday, November 26th at 2:30 when they host the Winnipeg Jets.
Hey, the Wild will wear a special Native American Heritage jersey during the warm-ups.
You could bid on those jerseys from November 26th to December 6th at wild.com/online auctions. Proceeds will go towards the Minnesota Wild Foundation.
T-shirt jerseys that feature Dakota Indian designs will be giving to the first 5,000 sports fans.
Purchase a special Native American Heritage Day ticket package with the portion of the ticket sales donated back to the Lower Failing Creek Project. Log on to wild.com/theme packs to purchase.
Hey, Wendy, we got Nancy Bolio on here, and we're going to talk whatever she needs to talk about. But first, let's talk to Nancy about Native Roots Trading Post and all the stuff that's gone that she's made as an artist.
Well, I first want to say thank you so much, Nancy, for your beautiful artwork that we sell at our store. And we need another whole batch because it's selling like hotcakes.
So maybe after the show, Nancy, you can start beating and doing all that stuff.
Making some soaps and doing your thing.
Welcome, Nancy Bolio of Bemidji 350.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's always a pleasure to be here. But yeah, I'm just grateful that my art can get out there. And tonight, my kitchen, with my pleasure, will become a sweatshop for making soap.
It's been awesome.
Well, you know, the problem was I bought soap by the bulk, and I didn't realize I didn't have a tool to get it, you know, in the quantity I needed it. So tonight we're going to wrestle with some bulk soap, and I'm going to be excited to make the soap because it always smells so good in here, and I just feel good about making it, and feel good about being in this space as well. And again, for those people that don't know me, I'm Nancy Bolio. I'm the Northern Organizer for Minnesota 350, and I am here in my homelands on Leech Lake in Minnesota, northern Minnesota, and I'm always excited to give a quick update, Robert.
Yeah, definitely. And we're going to keep you on a little longer than you wanted to because we want to give you the...
I figured that. So, and you know, my apologies. I usually like to try to jump in when you guys get started, but I was actually in a planning meeting for the Treaty Alliance that's going to take place in February on behalf of a awesome Native American leadership, and some orgs like Sierra Club, Minnesota 350 are always more than happy to step it up. We got Honor the Earth. Gina's been in our meetings with us too as well. So yeah, we ran a little over our meeting time, and I made it. And what I want to share most importantly, Robert, is that this is Indigenous Month. Native Heritage Month. This is, well, we know it's every day. Every day is a good day to be Indigenous, right?
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, and I just want to share something that I wrote a while back, and I want to share it again because we should be thinking about this more than, you know, just 1 month out of the year or 1 day out of the year. But this kind of reminds me of the work that I do, the work that we should all be doing, and why I, you know, come and share this information is to encourage people that, you know, we have a voice and we can be a collective power if we remind ourselves that we're still here. And we're at a point in time where we're seeing, you know, people talking about these government to government relationships. Well, this is the month, and you do something, and you do something with good intentions, not glorified lip service. And so every now and then since I wrote this, I read this little piece I wrote for Indigenous Day, and I'll read it now.
Awesome.
Okay, every day is Indigenous Day. Our ancestors signed treaty so we could live in peace, take care of all living things, and protect our culture. Forbidden to speak or pray the language, our ancestors protected the songs, the prayers, and the knowledge. Today and every day, we still remain connected to the land. We're still here. Each and every day we awake as Indigenous people. We need to commend our identity, our way of life, and deny the forces that deem to continue the assimilation of our people. October 11th, Columbus Day, is not a day of discovery, nor a day to recognize as Indigenous Day. The U.S. and its citizens should strive every day to acknowledge and honor the Native people of these lands and morally correct the wrongs of the past. This is our land, and we still remain connected every day. And we're all related. We're all connected to the web of life. The prayers, the medicine, the animals are sacred, and so is each new day. Every day starts with prayer because it is who we are, all related and connected to these lands. We are native to this land, so every day is Indigenous Day. Honor and respect that every day.
Yeah.
So,
That's beautiful, Nancy. Thank you.
And Nancy, we have Jeffrey who's listening to us on Facebook and stream. He said, I like to call it American Genocide Awareness Day.
I don't mean to laugh, but let's call it for what it is, right? You know, and it's hard, you know. What I was trying to do today on our Treaty Alliance meeting was like, well, you know, we can use some more meeting time. Can we meet Thursday or Friday? And someone had to send me a text, Thursday's Thanksgiving. And I was like, not all of us celebrate Thanksgiving, you know. And I like what Michael Lane said. Let's rephrase our way we think. It's not like let's decolonize, let's re-indigenize ourselves.
Oh, I like that.
You know?
That's a T-shirt I think I'll be making soon.
Yeah,
but-
Dr. Stately was having something at the his clinic there. He was calling it think taking. Taking.
And I like to say thanks taking, you know, ever since Wendy and I were at Standing Rock during that big week thanks taking, when there was 10,000 people there and they kept on rolling in 24/7. There was a line. It was like the Field of Dreams at the end of the movie where cars were coming constantly for 4 days. It was amazing. But that's where I got.
Oh, yes, it was, Robert. I was actually there that weekend, and I had to step outside the teepee in the Red Lake Treaty Camp out there. And it was, I just couldn't believe it. I just wanted to stand there and watch it the whole time. And it was just like this drawn force of people, you know, a beautiful force. And I think, you know, coming home from Standing Rock, you know, the resistance is still on. And we're going to continue to cause good trouble, assert our treaty rights, because, you know, what good are those treaty rights if we don't assert them? And then if we're in a month of recognizing Indigenous people, will do the right thing and honor those treaties, because it does matter. And until they honor those treaties, we're going to continually suffer from the oppression, and they're going to keep taking from us, Robert. And we see that. And you know, they might not think, well, putting a pipeline in your territory is not taking anything. Yeah, it is. It's taking the life out of every living thing around us, and that is genocide, like our listener mentioned earlier. So we need to stop with that. And these politicians, these judges, all these state agencies need to understand, when they swear into office, they swear to uphold Article 6 of that Constitution. And if these people can't uphold those constitutions, I think these systems need to readdress and step back and take a look at what they're doing wrong. And if these people are swearing in to uphold the United States Constitution, they need to mean that. And if they don't understand that, then part of that training, going backwards and saying, what are we doing wrong? Maybe they need to say, you know, before you all swear into office, you all need to understand what the United States Constitution is and what you're swearing to uphold. Do you understand that? Are you going to swear to honor not just the Constitution, but the treaties that you swear to uphold? And if they can't do that, Robert, then maybe they shouldn't be swearing into office. They need to find another profession.
Yeah,
You know?
we need to, exactly, put the fire to the toes of our politicians. And just people that are supposedly our allies. We really have to educate them, and that's what we do here. And that's why it's so grand to have you on, once a week, because you talk the truth and your truth, and treaties is the supreme law.
Right. And, taking a look at, that 8-day occupation that we had out to the Enbridge easement back in early June, coming out of the Treaty People Gathering in Waban, we know that our work still continues, and moving forward into like the Treaty Alliance and the Treaty People Gathering, we encourage people to continue to step up and hold some of these spaces with us, because, the construction on Line 3 might be done, but the resistance is not over, because if we don't defend those treaties, or even some of our own constitutions like we have at the Minnesota Chippewa Tribe, if we don't defend those or make them right, and undo all those wrongs, we're going to continue to fight every pipeline, every extractive industry that wants to come here and say, hey, we're going to deceit you, we're going to win the public's trust and make everyone think, well, most people, not us, but and tell people, the community, that we're here in a good way. But we see more often than not that they're deceitful, they're violating treaty, they're violating our constitutions, and that's not right. And we have to make sure that as people that we don't give up, Robert. We're in a point in history where we actually should be building our momentum and educating these people that treaties matter, and that we're going to continue to show up and hold space. And when I say hold space, that means exercising our inherent right that's protected, under the...
Nancy,
yeah.
We got 10 seconds. We're going to be right back when we're going to talk more about treaties and art and therapy and how good it is for our people. You're listening to Native Roots Radio Presents I'm Awake, and we're with Nancy Bolio of Bemidji 350.
We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Hey, Wendy, what are we doing for dinner after the show?
How about we go to J. Selby's on 169 Victoria Street in St. Paul? They have a delicious plant-based menu that's compassionate and environmentally sustainable.
I'm getting their spot-on vegan Big Mac, the dirty secret.
You can pick up and they deliver within a 5-mile radius, or you can call them at 651-222-3263 or visit jselbys.com.
Well, you sold me one. Let's go order at J. Selby's tonight.
I'm hungry.
Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in 4 directions. This is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy, but with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
For too long, American Indian tribes have faced a competitive disadvantage when litigating against powerful forces. With its American Indian law and policy practice, Robbins Kaplan, LLP, seeks to redefine excellence for high-stakes litigation in Indian country. They have worked hand-in-hand with tribes to implement the Tribal Law and Order Act, fighting against diminishment of tribal lands and natural resources, and improving public safety on reservations. The Robbins Kaplan American Indian Law and Policy Practice serves tribes and individuals on commercial, government investigations, agency and tribal boundary disputes, as well as personal injury. Founded and led by former United States Attorneys Brendan Johnson and Tim Purdon, their American Indian Law and Policy Practice exists to bring justice to tribal clients whose claims in the past have been dismissed or ignored due to their underdog status. If you or your tribe are facing legal issues, contact robinskaplan.com or call toll-free at 1-800-553-9910.
Aho, relatives. My name is George McCauley, Omaha Nation. I'm a citizen of the Omaha Nation in Nebraska, but reside in the Twin Cities area. As we head into wintertime, many of us will be back together indoors. It's important to make sure you receive your COVID booster shot. Those 65 and over are recommended to receive their booster dose. Older Americans are more at risk for complications for COVID-19. So get your booster shot to make sure you stay safe and healthy this winter. All 3 COVID vaccine boosters have been approved. Find a vaccine site by calling 651-304-9986 or go to this website, vaccineconnector.mn.gov, 651-304-9986, or go to vaccineconnector.mn.gov.
The holidays are sneaking up on us. Give the loved ones of your life a great book to keep them warm through the long winter months. If you don't know what to get, the friendly staff at Next Chapter Booksellers are great at making recommendations no matter the age and taste of your friends and relatives. Plus, Next Chapter Booksellers has a wide selection of puzzles and games. So stop in and browse the store off Snelling and Grand in St. Paul for the perfect gift. More at nextchapterbooksellers.com.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lulia. Overnight, cloudy skies with a low of 40. Cloudy skies remain through Wednesday with a high of 41. Take a break from that holiday cooking by visiting one of our fabulous Eat Local Minnesota restaurants. Find the list of Eat Local Minnesota restaurants and food purveyors at eatlocalminnesota.com.
You're listening to Native Roots Radio. This is Spirit from Reservation Dogs. Get up and listen.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake.
This portion of the show is brought to you by the Minnesota Wild. They're celebrating Native Heritage Day on Friday, November 16th at 2:30 when they host the Winnipeg Jets.
Hey, the Wild wear special Native American heritage jerseys during the warm-up.
You could bid on those jerseys from November 26th through December 6th at wild.com/online auctions. Proceeds will go towards the Minnesota Wild Foundation.
T-shirt jerseys that feature Dakota Indian design will be given to the first 5,000 fans.
Purchase a special Native American Heritage Day ticket package with a portion of the ticket sales donated back to the Lower Failing Creek Project. Log on to wild.com/theme packs to purchase.
Hey, wow, that's awesome. Speaking of awesome, one of our artists for Native Roots Trading Post is on the line right now. And Wendy, we need more earrings. It's like we got to get her to bring some more earrings down.
Nancy, I have to tell you, those earrings that you bead are gorgeous and they are so cute. I just love them.
And we need more.
Thank you so much. Yeah, like I said, art is therapy.
Really
And
beautiful stuff. Yeah.
it's a good way to wind down and share that beauty, because if I kept everything, I wouldn't have room left in my house for me, and then I couldn't make art. So it's got to go.
And I know that on your little cardboard, where your earrings are, it says something like made with care or made with love. I don't know offhand what it says, but I love that it says that, because I know it is true.
And it is very true. And like I said, when I sit down and actually do something, I kind of have an idea where my colors are, but I don't know where I'm going. And I just always let my creative mind take me somewhere. And usually most of my art is one of a kind. Some of my earrings, you might see duplicates, but more often than not, you won't see that, because my mood is different every time I do art, because it's what I do. So, yeah. And another thing I do, what I wanted to talk about, because I know I love to talk, and Robert, I said I only had 10 minutes tonight, and that was probably a lie. But moving out of the Waban gathering, and we see that the construction on line 3 is complete. But again, like I mentioned in the first part of the show, that our work is not done. So what we're doing at Bemidji 350, that's a chapter of Minnesota 350, and that's where my office is located in Bemidji, Minnesota, surrounded by the Red Lake, White Earth, and Leech Lake tribes. So we have a strong presence of Native people here, and again, we're defending treaties by asserting our treaty rights and educating the Americans, all of them, that we're all treaty people. So our intention is to be the hub of the Minnesota 350 treaty work moving forward. And then, so our theme is we're all treaty people. And we want to onboard and build alliance and solidarity with Native relatives and non-Native allies. And we actually going to scrub our old page, and we're going to have some new messaging and a new look. we're going to have an open house, and we're going to do that virtual and in person. But the virtual part is where we can invite some of our people from far, across Turtle Island into that space, because they might have knowledge that we need, or how do we continue to build on this treaty. I mean, can you imagine, Robert, if all of the tribes across the United States got together and said, hey, we had enough. So someday we hope to get there in a good way. And then, so we want to build alliance with our Native allies across Turtle Island, local organizations that could be helpful. And we want to create some events so we can build on a community. And then at Minnesota 350, we're going to revisit our link and update how to get involved, and share the Bemidji 350 link as well. So we want to move the treaty work forward, meaning what does the transition for environmental and racial justice look like based around treaty obligation. And my work with 350, we already kind of started that work here, and so we want to build on that with a summit. Probably in the future. And then what we're working on right now is that treaty alliance I mentioned earlier, and we like to start off with our non-Native people and some of our own people that don't understand what treaties are, with the Treaty 101 presentation and some educational pieces. And what does the treaty partnership and engagement look like moving forward? So like we saw at the Firelight encampment, that 8-day occupation, that was our story to show the world this is what it looks like to stand in solidarity. And it was beautiful, Robert. It was so beautiful. So we want to make sure we carry our treaty work forward, because this is more than a pipeline. This is about moving into the future. And what does that future look like, standing in solidarity with our allies in a good way as the treaty is intended. So another big part of our work in northern Minnesota is Rock the Vote Native style. And so, Robert, I'm going to be teaming up with you with the Rock the Vote Native symposium, and I'm excited about that. And again, we're going to just teach people how the political system works and how they can engage. And so we have to be at the table, Robert. We can't just show up at November 3rd and then be gone, because they tend to forget about us. So that's why our work's important, that we keep moving forward.
There's a couple things that you said, but one thing I want to go back to first is this, that you were at Standing Rock, and I know this show started because of Standing Rock, and it's kind of an anniversary for us, because Thanksgiving's coming up, and that was, I think, that was the last time we were there, and there were so many people at Standing Rock, and so many people, so many different tribes and nations and indigenous people from all over the world that came there. And then with that, the light and the fire went all over the world, and you are, and us here at Native Roots Radio are still with that light. We're still representing what we did there in a good way. That's all I can think of right now, is that your work has really been an extension of what happened at Standing Rock, and we gotta acknowledge that and remember that. And I'm just bringing that up, Nance.
Well, I totally agree, because, I wouldn't even be talking to you if I didn't go to Standing Rock, because for many of the people that were in Standing Rock, we were awakened, and we did bring a piece of little fire home with us, and exactly this is why I'm here, why I'm doing this work, because, we're all affected by broken treaties in the same way, and that's why we have to keep together. Even if we're back at our home fronts, we still have to align ourselves, and that's why this alliance is important. And moving forward, what does that treaty gathering look like? Maybe we need to revisit Standing Rock when that moment comes. That sounds like a great idea, So I think, what we need to remember too is, being Native Heritage Month, that we have to protect our culture, and we have to do that in some of the spaces that we're also going to create within Minnesota 350, at Bemidji 350. And I think that's important, because I see a lot of our people are broken, and I say that in a good way, but what we need is some cultural exchange and sharing. We need to go back to our 7 grandfather teachings. We need to talk about cultural appropriation, and how does Native culture align with natural law, and how do we find that balance? And land back, kudos to all those camps, people holding it out down there. The land back is really critical, because without land, we have nowhere to connect ourselves and realign ourselves with Mother Earth. Those are our teachings. And again, when we go to land back, we're going to find healing. We're going to find our identity and our culture again, and we're going to align ourselves with the elders and the treaty keepers and the pipe carriers. And you know what? In the end, we're going to build on resiliency, and we're going to be strong, and we're going to defend those treaties. We're going to protect our water. We're going to protect the 7 generations, and we're going to do that together, Robert, because when we stand together, we don't stand alone, and that's what we have to work for.
You know what I really like what you had to say too is that you've always said this when we were doing Rock the Boat Native Style, is like, if there isn't a chair up there, we get our folding chair and join in, right? At the table.
That's a quote from Shirley Chisholm, and she said, I forget what her title was, but she said, she's a woman of color too. She said, if there's not a chair at the table, bring a folding chair. And so that's what we have done. So, moving forward with our political work, we'll be working with the Native Peoples Caucus of the Minnesota DFL. I just was in the meeting with them Sunday. I'm realigning with them again, and we're going to push treaty resolutions across the state of Minnesota, and we hope other people do it across Turtle Island with their treaties. And then we're also going to support some of the educational pieces, creating webinars through the Native Peoples Caucus of the Minnesota DFL, and then our Revolution Bemidji. So I look forward to creating those spaces with the help of Robert Pilot and all these other orgs that can help make those spaces happen so we can be strong again, and we're going to fight back in a good way.
We only got a minute or so left, Nancy, and one of the things I got to say to you is that with your energy that since Standing Rock, it's really important to see you specifically, but all the other warriors too, that are still doing this, and that are still, it's important for people to see the consistency of someone like Winona LaDuke too, that's been doing it forever. You know what I mean? It's like, it's important for people to see people like you.
Right. And, I was just telling someone today, just where I'm at today is because I listen to our elders and I listen to the people that really are here with good intentions. And there's a lot of people in this movement that I have been watching and learning from. And it takes all those little pieces to come together to make me who I am today. And Standing Rock was a part of that. And even in my own territory here, I've been terminated from my job, the poster child for Leech Lake. You don't speak up, you get fired. We got to talk about lateral oppression and how we have to combat that too. So there's a lot of work to do, Robert. Good work.
Yeah, and it's great to have you aboard, and I can't wait to do what we did last time with Rock the Vote Native Style, because that's an offshoot of Native Roots Radio. And one of the things we promoted and talked to politicians, Native politicians, all over Turtle Island, but it was really festive because we helped elect 13 other Native Americans to office this last cycle, and I can't wait for this cycle that's coming up really quick.
Right, like I told Representative Fabian at the Capitol one day, I said, you know what, we're going to learn how to play this game, and we're going to play it better than you. So that's why we have to show up. That's why if we're not at the table, we're what's being served, and we learn from those quotes. We understand what they mean, and we're gonna get better at this, Robert.
Well, Pinigigi Nancy Bolio, Bemidji 350, co-host with me when we did Rock the Vote Native Style, and just all around great artist. We need to go up there and shake some art out of you and bring it back to the store, because we're running out of low of the artist Nancy Bolio. So
I'm on the soap. Miigwech for listening, folks.
They love you. We always get a lot of great responses here on Facebook about you. Somebody said, "Say it, sister." Yes, Nancy. So I appreciate you and appreciate
speak the truth. All right. You have a good night, Robert.
All right, Pinigigi. Hey, Wendy, that was awesome.
Yeah, Nancy's great. She's fantastic.
Well, you're listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and up next, we're running a store, so Wendy's going to do some more trivia.
We're going to talk about some trivia
on our sacred animals. We'll be right back.
Stay with us. For too long, American Indian tribes have faced a competitive disadvantage when litigating against powerful forces. With its American Indian law and policy practice, Robbins Kaplan, LLP, seeks to redefine excellence for high-stakes litigation in Indian country. They have worked hand in hand with tribes to implement the Tribal Law and Order Act, fighting against diminishment of tribal lands and natural resources, and improving public safety on reservations. The Robbins Kaplan American Indian Law and Policy Practice serves tribes and individuals on commercial, government investigations, agency and tribal boundary disputes, as well as personal injury. Founded and led by former United States Attorneys Brendan Johnson and Tim Purdon, their American Indian Law and Policy Practice exists to bring justice to tribal clients whose claims in the past have been dismissed or ignored due to their underdog status. If you or your tribe are facing legal issues, contact robinskaplan.com or call toll-free at 1-800-553-9910.
Minnesota has the only original wolf population in the continental United States, and 80% of Minnesotans believe the wolf should be protected. Howling for Wolves is asking Minnesotans to respect our true wildlife manager, the wolf. Their survival is critical to our ecosystems, our communities, and even our economy. As highly intelligent animals with strong social bonds, Minnesota wolves deserve to be protected and admired. Learn more at howlingforwolves.org. Let's live and let howl.
Hey, Ogimaa, I've been hearing a lot about this term, climate justice. What is that?
Climate justice is recognizing that the negative impacts of climate change don't affect all people equally. It also means transitioning from a fossil fuel-based economy to a more sustainable future. MN350 is one of the groups that's pushing for this transition to protect our futures. You can even get involved too.
That's great, especially since I'm concerned about pipeline projects like Line 3. How can I help MN350?
Just find them on Facebook or visit mn350.org.
Hi, I'm Jane Fonda, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
Hey, welcome back to Native Roots Radio Presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is brought to you by the Minnesota Wild. They're celebrating Native American Heritage Day on Friday, November 26th at 2:30 when they host the Winnipeg Jets.
The Wild will wear a special Native American heritage jersey during warm-ups.
You could bid on those jerseys from November 26th through December 6th at wild.com/online auctions. Proceeds will go towards the Minnesota Wild Foundation.
T-shirts that feature Dakota Indian design will be given away to the first 5,000 fans.
Purchase a special Native American Heritage Day ticket package with a portion of the ticket sales donated back to the Lower Failing Creek Project. Log on to wild.com/themepacks to purchase.
And our friends from the Lower Phelan Creek Project, we know them well.
This portion is also sponsored by Howling for Wolves, protecting wolves for future generations.
Ooh, that was good. Hey, Hey, I want to introduce my awesome and beautiful wife, Wendy. Wendy has been an animal advocate for many, many years, and she's works with.
I work with the Humane Society of the United States.
I thought it was called something else.
I am a humane policy volunteer leader for the Humane Society of the United States.
When we used to were on once a week, I used to read that.
Yeah.
But it's changed, and
yeah,
we're on every day.
We used to be called state council members, but they changed it because that doesn't really, emphasize what we actually do. So
let's get into, pre-Thanksgiving is coming up. Let's get into a little more fun trivia again.
Yeah, you like the fun trivia.
Yeah,
I kind of do too.
Animals.
I think we'll be doing this till the end of the week here. So, Robert, Dalmatians. I don't remember where we left off. I don't remember if I said this one or not, but Dalmatians are born all white and their spots come through later at about 2 weeks old. So yeah, that's one thing. You know what? Jellyfish evaporate in the sun. Jellyfish are made up of 98% water, and when they're left out in the sun, they will evaporate. When jellyfish get washed up to shore, they will begin to melt if left in the sun for too long. It's all right, though. Jellyfish do not feel pain since they only have basic neurons that help them sense their surroundings.
Wow.
I'm glad to know that they don't feel pain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chameleon's tongue is longer than its whole body. Chameleons are pretty cool animals. The reptiles are able to adapt to their surroundings very easy and camouflage their bodies to protect themselves from predators. On top of all of that, their tongues on average grow to be twice as long as the rest of their bodies. Chameleons' tongues are also extremely fast and move at 60 miles an hour. That's amazing.
Well, it reminds me of a Maynard Ferguson big band jazz song called Chameleon. Anyways, go ahead.
Chickens evolved from dinosaurs. When we look at a chicken, the bird doesn't exactly scream predator to us, but they may be descendants of some pretty frightening animals. Chickens are descendants of dinosaurs and may actually be their closest living relative. In fact, scientists believe that most birds today evolved from dinosaurs.
I believe that.
Yeah, this is a really good one. Dogs can smell cancer.
Yeah.
And we know somebody
From my sister.
whose dog
Yeah.
saved her life.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's amazing. We don't want to really get into it too much
Mhm.
personally, but that is amazing.
Her dog kept sniffing a certain part of her body and gnawing at it and like clawing. And she finally went to get it checked and there was cancer there.
Saved her life.
Saved her life. So there you go. In addition to being man's best friend, dogs have amazing talents. Canines have an incredible sense of smell and are often used to help out police, border patrol, and firefighters. Among the things dogs are able to sniff out are diseases such as cancer. Dogs can detect breast cancer, melanoma, colon cancer, and more. So that's wonderful.
Wow.
And I love this little story here. Penguins mate for life. Most penguins are monogamous, meaning they prefer to have one mate for their entire life. Some species of penguin, like the emperor penguin, are serial monogamous. This means they have one partner per season and then will move on to a different partner to the next season, but never mate with more than one penguin at a time. So that's kind of cute.
Wow, that is cool.
Pandas spend half of their day eating. I know some people who do that too. Now, this is an animal we can relate to. A full-grown adult panda needs a lot of food and spends 12 hours of the day just eating. In addition, pandas must consume at least 28 pounds of bamboo a day in order to reach all its dietary needs. That is one hungry animal. Someone should change the game hungry hippos to hungry pandas.
You know, Dalmatians from Kathleen says have many layers of teeth. That's why they help firemen.
Oh, I love that.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, thanks Kathleen. That's a great thing to know. Goats and sheep have rectangular pupils. We saw those at the goats at the sanctuary. Do you remember?
Oh, yeah.
They have their eyes. Have you ever looked at a goat or a sheep in the eye? You may want to next time you visit a petting zoo or farm because their eyes are quite interesting. Goats and sheep have rectangular pupils instead of circular pupils like humans and other animals. This helps them see nearly 360 degrees around them. That's pretty interesting. And you know how long camels can live without water?
24 hours.
7 months.
What?
Camels can live for 7 months without water. Camels are extraordinary animals. While an average human can only live for 3 to 5 days without any water, a camel can survive for 6 to 7 months without any water. This is even more impressive when you consider the fact that they usually live in extremely hot and dry temperatures in the desert. They used to tell us when we were kids that those humps were filled with water, and that's how it would come down
That's not
the
true?
Water. I don't know.
I thought it was.
Really?
Yeah.
Can
And
somebody
that was,
Google that on Facebook and do the humps of the camels contain water?
Yeah, I think so. But I've never seen them deflated, so that's kind of weird too. But 7 months, it's like camels were like a symbol in AA. If a camel can go 24 hours without drinking, so can you.
Well, they can go for 7 months. So there you go.
Then party up.
Giraffes only sleep for 30 minutes a night.
Oh.
The fact is making us sleepy. Humans need about 6 to 8 hours of sleep a night in order to function, and many animals need more than that. Giraffes, however, are the exception. Giraffes have the shortest sleep requirement out of any animal in the world. The large mammals only need 30 minutes of sleep per day and often sleep in 5-minute intervals. That's kind of like a cat, like taking a little cat nap. And I'll just say this one too. Dolphin mothers sing to their babies in the womb.
Oh.
Dolphins are one of the smartest animals in the world. The sea mammals have their own language and whistle to communicate with one another. When a female dolphin is pregnant, she will sing to her baby in the womb. She will also teach her unborn baby her own name and a signature whistle that the baby dolphin can use to find its mother once it has been born. I love dolphins.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you for that.
Pinigi.
Yeah.
I would like to end with these thoughts. If you're listening to the show, you are part of the resistance. Defend the riverfront in Reading, California. That's from Jess. The ground on which we stand on is a sacred ground. It is the blood of our ancestors. We need to resist, divest, join a group, and run for office. Pinigigi for Nancy Bolio for her great segments and all the great art. Ogimaa, we just appreciate you so much and a great news. You're bringing up the beginning of the show. Wendy, thank you so much. We are the seventh generation. We're still here.
Free Leonard Peltier. Stop line 3. Please get vaccinated.
Hi, I'm Anna and I'm 8 years old and I'm getting my COVID vaccine. If you're between 5 and 11 years old, you can get vaccinated too. Getting the